Okay, welcome back. Let's walk down the corridors all the way back to the Forest Fabrication wing. So, turns out when you don't have the program actually piping out your webcam information, your broadcasting software doesn't send it to your streaming destination. My bad. But we are doing a little bit better this time. You can see a different corridor this time down our hallways. And here, let's open up our way into the next bit. Well, let's close the door behind us. Don't let the void in. Okay. Well, welcome back to our little slice of well, I don't know what to call it at the moment. The research lab. We haven't really come up with a name to tell everybody yet. But we'll get there. So I don't. It's been an interesting couple of days for us here at the lab. Uh, I got how to phrase this. Got bit by a red horsefly that kicked my butt. Gave me a little bit of the case of no energy, no motivation over the past couple of days. But hey, I've at least gotten better at the sleeping bit. Maybe not at the eating healthy bit, but hey, we're making progress as we go. Everybody is a work in progress themselves, right? Okay, so let's start up our little mood music, as it were. And hey, if anybody ever has any suggestions on what to put in the background, that'd be fun. You know, there's a bit of me that is tempted, since I am not a monetized channel at all, to use stuff that is not royalty free. Just throw on some Spotify, Pandora, or what have you on shuffle. And you'll hear a wide range of things. Let's see. But let's see, any updates from the lab. The doctor got hit by a similar little bit of a bug, a little bit harder than I did, so the progress on the logs kind of stalled out over the past couple of days. And our darker partner, he's been a little bit silent. The past couple of logs we've gotten from him show that there's some progress on some stuff that you guys might be able to see, but it's nothing you've got clearance for yet, and it's nothing that we're really at a spot where we're confident of putting it out there. Let's see. One of these days I'll actually look up the tips and tricks of this software. So I should already have the tutorial up on the right, but it's not showing. Let's see. Remove, I guess. Okay, there we go. Add. Could go display capture, but no, I'll do window capture, I guess. Not seeing window capture. There we go. Infinite. Okay, no, not this. But I'd be so much quicker at this if... There we go. Okie dokie dokie doke. Let's see. Any other news to really bring up? Oh, was talking with somebody, and they brought up a pretty cool person to imitate style off of, and the style branches off on some of their projects, but it's a pretty prolific animator. If you you grew up with the classic Disney, wow, that at some point that's going to change. Definitely, the Disney animated film Renaissance, not so like back in the let's see, the original Mulan, not the live action, the Beauty and the Beast, and so on. You have definitely seen this man's work. And I was surprised I didn't even think about looking him up or looking up responsible for the art style that they were doing. And it's like, oh, well, I should have done that. So let me tell you who that is. That's James Baxter. That's with an X. I know there's, 1,000 different ways to write any name under the sun, but let's see. Art style. I'll use that. I'm looking that up. I know you're not seeing what I'm doing. Okay. Let's pull this down into here. So, if you're... okay, I should go back to it. Wow, I can't... I forget where the monitors are all set up. Okay. Now I am a dum-dum again. Because I did not turn on your ability to see that screen this time. I think we've all had those moments where we thought we did a clever thing, and then it turns out we didn't. Okay, where are you at? There you are. Okay. So, if you see some of these sketches on here, like, you've more than likely seen these before. And that's the guy right there as far as my quick Google search indicates. But, we've got things like, Beauty and the Beast, the classic Disney princess, or all the way back to the anthropomorphic animal Robin Hood. I think this is Prince of Egypt. Like a whole bunch of all of this classic stuff. He probably even also did some stuff there when they did what the heck? Why can't I remember the trope breakdown? It was like Disenchantment or whatever it was with some fun live action actors of, hey, we went from the animated world to the real world, and stuff happens. Let's see. Let's just list off some of his, because like some of this is stuff that it's pretty darn cool. I don't know. I hope that a lot of you guys, if I ever get a lot of you guys out there, have some of those things you've seen out there. It's like, that's really cool art, or like, I really like the style of that, or that flowed really well, or whatever. In the world of animation, in the world of comics and whatnot, like, it's always cool to look and see who worked on that, how some of that came about. There's there are a few people who like literally do breakdowns with those people of some of their iconic stuff, and it's like really cool to notice it and learn a little bit about it, and then it can enhance your viewing experience or your reading experience of those media when you're able to see that, or when you go back and watch it, like well, just about any of them, anything from like modern 3D animation with Frozen, and the breakdown of, well, how did they come about with Olaf, and how do they conquer these animation and movement challenges after they've done the character design, those sort of things, or the behind the scenes of why the creative direction went the way it did. Was it because of just some crazy idea or accident or spoof drawing that somebody did in the margins, and the art director or the director or even a producer sees that and is like, I want that. That is in now. And the reasoning behind it. So let's see. Some of the stuff, James Baxter is... Oh, he's from Bristol, England. Okay. Some of his most famous work would be characters in... okay, so he's mostly looking like a character animator. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Rafiki in The Lion King. Belle in Beauty and the Beast. Quasimodo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That was a very physical animation. His final film before moving on to work with DreamWorks. So he went from Disney to DreamWorks. Okay. He worked on Prince of... And so Notre Dame was the last one he did with Disney. Then he went over to work with DreamWorks. Prince of Egypt, Shrek 2, Madagascar. He formed his own studio. Okay. And that's where he worked on Enchanted, that story we were talking about. Kung Fu Panda. He did the opening credits, it looks like. And now he's returned to DreamWorks in a role as a supervising animator. Okay. So that's just the quick and dirty about that guy. But, I'm not going to compare myself to him until I've been in the business as long as he is, which will be never. Or who knows? We'll see. But probably not. I would have had to have started way earlier than this, and not have joined this research team at this time. Let's see. But yeah, there's plenty of fun art that he did. And if you're responsible for one particular part of he might have done some work on that, and some of the other stuff said stuff about time, so possibly that too. Well, wait, yeah, there we go, Adventure Time. But I was thinking maybe he did some stuff about Spirit, but I could be wrong. The point is, there are plenty of good artists out there, as I ramble on about this stuff. And not all of them start out all that great, or are all that consistent, or, what have you. But you can plug away and eventually get to a good place for your art style. Like here, let's go for webcomics, right? There's a webcomic I've kept up with for years because it's got funny bits in it. It kind of is just a nice, fun story, and eventually you become invested, and you're like, yeah, I want to know what happens to these characters. So I want to show you guys the difference between a couple of things here. So this guy has done 5,120 pages, updating on average. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. I do that on the other browser. Anyways, that's twice a week, right? And taking time off for holidays and stuff because he will actually do that, or having to go on a break because of burnout, whatever. But that is a long time. Let's see. Sure. That's a fun name, the Robot Girl Squad. And we're not going to talk about the ins and outs of this actual comic, like the storyline, all that sort of stuff. Although I do enjoy it, and I do recommend you give it a check out. I don't have a recommended spot to start, but thankfully, it's a one-page update, so it's a few panels usually. Sometimes it's a singular panel, and there's it's an interesting world. It's a in the not so distant future kind of a thing where AI. Oh, hey, getting topical now. AI has come to the level where it's essentially sentient, and there's AIs that are able to have a body and being autonomy, if that makes sense, or basically getting close or equal to personhood. Including, like, say there was an A. Well, I said I wasn't going to go into the stories, but still, this is interesting to think about. A world where an AI is basically being a rebellious teenager and going for a joyride, but they do that in a fighter plane, right? And then get sent to AI jail for some time for, rehabilitation, to be able to reintegrate, basically, that sort of thing. But not, hey, you're getting reprogrammed by us literally putting in code and taking out code and all of that. And not, oh, you did this joyride. Well, you crossed the line, we're deleting you. It's a, hey, we will reform you instead thing. And then comes out of that as just a convict looking for a job with a very interesting personality. It's interesting. I enjoy it, and I should be clicking things so that you can see them a bit better. But, like, here's the art style when it started. Right, here's the very first bit in here, and, like, wow. And, like, it's very basic. It's a character design. It's almost it's reminiscent of some of the early Flash animations and stuff, which means it's predominantly flat unless you're putting a lot of time or skill into it. Big, easy shapes to be able to manipulate or just turn, that sort of thing. That's another thing you'll if you start paying attention to animation or comics and stuff, especially simplified comics, some of it's just, here's the shape that we stick with the whole time and whatnot. We're not going to animate this like it is an actual person. Like, I noticed this the other day on Star Trek Lower Decks, where, it's just in like 90% of the time, probably more, when they're talking, it's not a, hey, my jaw is moving. It's their head stays the same shape. There's no deformation down at the chin area as they're talking. It's just an overlay of the mouth, right? Same sort of thing with a lot of manga or anime styles, especially earlier on, where it was mostly a lot of cell animation. There was no real digital overlay that you'd be able to do all that sort of stuff. So it's an interesting thing to notice how we can develop from that sort of thing, where it's in the basic realm of all of this, very limited amounts of shading, if any, on a person, to here we go, where it's a much more complicated, not just in, like, say, look at their clothing, they actually, like, there are buttons and whatnot, there's an actual zipper pull, whereas earlier they probably wouldn't have even done that in that style. There's shadows for where their chins are, or where their hairs, or the fact that we can tell there is very much a directional light from this window, rather than just amorphous from wherever it is, and all that sort of stuff. And don't worry, she's not technically naked. She's just a slime amoeba AI. So don't worry about it. Also AIs. Basically, if they're not flesh tones of some kind, whether that be these pasty boys, well, girl and boy, or anywhere on the darker spectrums, or even, I think there are a couple who are even pastier than these two. It's that's going to be a human. If it's something that you would think of a potentially a marker color that most people would use, then it's probably going to be an AI. But like I said, progression in how they apply, what they do, and this guy is very consistent. I very much admire him for that. But that's enough of that. As I get back to the correct screen. Okay. Let's make the display capture not so visible. Okay. Did I turn? Yeah, I turned that off because it was above this. Cool. Okay. Wow, that's 20 minutes. Technically, like 24 especially if you include the pre-stream stream that streamed so poorly. Okay. Other than that, we're probably going to keep it a pretty short one. We're changing our working hours outside of our little nod to the public here. Let's make this smaller. And then I'll be making the actual display for me bigger. I'm going full screen. So we're probably not going to get all that far on this. Let's see, a reminder for those of you, I need to work on my enunciation here. But a reminder for those of you who were not here for the previous streams, as my computer chugs and chugs, we did a little bit of an off-camera Scary Terry, a little underdrawing for our... So we followed this for a little bit of the side on. For hopefully this will help lead to improvements on here we go, on things like this, getting the basics in more often. So hopefully over this weekend and on Monday we'll have enough time to do a few drills of this, as well as the drawing drills, and show you some progress on that, or at least the starting steps of being a little bit more regimented about this. Yes, also last time we did a little bit of our tracing of the lovely member of the Adeptus Sororitas that Eleanor did, either that or the other name there. And, we didn't do a shit job, but it wasn't great, and I think I'm going to fix that before we move on. The spot where it looks like this is not like one of the breastplates, yes, pun very much intended, is missing, and it just becomes a pasty. So we're just going to turn this back on, go back to the blue, down here, before we go ahead and switch back to our regularly scheduled programming. Okay, let's see if hey, that's not too bad. I was looking at seeing if it matched up on destination or if I had pulled off too quick. I did pretty light there. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Cool. Oh, since I'm on blue right now, I'll do the piping there. Sometimes it's annoying, but sometimes my stylus does not catch up to me. Okay, so file. Oh wait, I think we've already got a new somewhere else. Or no, we haven't done it. File. Okay. It'll chug away. Or pop up on an entirely different screen for me to be able to just click OK to. And pull up our canvas. Okay. And away. Okay, I feel like I'm doing them a disservice because I don't think you're picking up any of the sound, so let's fix that. Like I said, you guys get to watch the train wreck of me learning. Who knows? Maybe a few of you will just not be able to look away because it's interesting. Okay, let's see. Let's do another. Let's see, is it okay? Add audio output capture. Yo. Okay. I guess we'll go for. It's so weird that I wish I could just do it like with the window capture. Maybe there's a way to do that. We'll figure that out at some point. But for now, let's see. Okay, we're gonna downgrade that audio a bit. I can't tell if that made the backing track louder or not. I think it might have, but if it ever is, let me know. Now let's go back over to our track. You know, I don't know if any of you can hear that. So we're gonna turn on. So they're thanking their sponsor right now. I'm just gonna turn on the subtitles. Okay. see, what are we at? We're at a 4. We're going to bring that up to a... Oh yeah, the Control Z bit. Yeah. Jesus, can you like? It might be because my audio output volume is so low. For some reason. I'll admit, I did try and get one through this back when this aired. Oh god, yeah, it would be. I do enjoy this, the fact that they do recognize, but yeah, that they do recognize their fan artists or their fans who work with them. Yeah, how your straight lines go, how your proportions and distances are. Why is it? Dang it, what the heck? Okay, for some reason this is no longer drawn. This week we're going to be doing bow, apparently. Ooh. Okay, before they do that, I need to figure out what's going on with my tablet. Because, yeah, if you can see the little dot, it's moving around. I am pressing down. Nothing is being drawn. We're straight up blue. We're straight up that. Brush stabilization. Okay. Cool. Cool. What the heck is going on? The layer is at 100%. It's not the whatever. Brush density, brush size, opacity. Leave them, bump that up. All right. Okay. Go to the pencil. Okay, well, if I can't figure this out, we're going to be having a very short session today. It would mostly be me talking about stuff I hope to do. Okay. Gray tool? Try going all the way to black. See if that changes anything. Nope. Okay. Let's try doing this on a new layer. Is that going to fix anything? Nope. Okay. This isn't cool. Let's see. We'll try recalibrating our little fun tablet. Going here. Okay, and I'll make sure that you guys can see it. Watch me flounder. Okay. Let's take these down so you don't have to see this while I'm doing it. Okay. So we go. Here we go. Oh, of course, it does it elsewhere. So I'm going, for those of you who aren't privy to what I'm doing, I'm going to the Wacom Center. So basically their driver center and utility stuff, which for some reason always opens on the bottom of the damn page, but like where you've got only the top little bit of the window. Okay. We're going to try and do a pen calibration. Come on. Open the... Oh, because it's up on the... Freaking heck. Yes, it's okay. It goes over to the main monitor first. Okay. Okay. Now that I've done that, I'll minimize and see if that somehow has fixed this. No, it has not. Okay. Let's see. Go back over to our little googly search here. Okay. Flip, studio, paint, pen, not drawing. All right, yeah, we'll go with not working on camera. No, that's probably not it. Okay. Straight from the source. Okay, so it's looking like it's telling me to go to... Yes, I am totally just breezing through it and not actually reading the whole thing and skimming. And it's saying, oh, it's just all about the preferences. But like, let's go over to this. Let's make it a much bigger pen so that you can definitely see this. Like there's oh, is it the saturation that went down? Yeah, okay. Looks like I'm actually gonna have to read this stuff. Oh no. Okay. Open a new canvas, new file. It's not the actual pen that's like it's literally that it's not drawing. Okay, you know what? We're gonna try this first before I go into this crazy ness of all of that. We're going to just restart the whole thing. I think nothing has bad changes. Sure, we'll go with that. Because it's just a blank canvas. Save. Cool. Okay. We're going to try this from the top. There. We're going to try the software version of the classic IT solution of, did you try turning it off, turning it on again? In this case, did you try restarting the program? As it chugs and chugs away. Oh wait, no, I gotta close it out. It has a opening hub, kind of like if you got a Steam game, it'll open up Steam, and then you can find the game, or you can go direct to the program. We're going through the Clip Studio overall first. Let me pull it over to our screen. Looks like this. Okay. Let's try opening this sucker. Which, again, opens on what I have designated as the main screen first. Then it pulls it over here. Now it works. Like, the heck? I guess I will never know why it did that. But that means we can get back to our regularly scheduled program, rather than me just not knowing what the hell I'm doing. Well, no, it's the same thing. I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. It's all about doing it to a tutorial. Got to get back to the stream software. And need to figure out snacks that I can eat or drink while talking into a microphone, so that way I don't get to this point in the stream and be like, I want to eat something. I guess instead we will use the Food Leopard brand instead. Because yes, we operate on a budget here at the good old research station. Okay. Let's turn their sound back on. Where'd their sound go? Up draw audio. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you can imitate aspects of somebody's art, but Jesus. Yeah. If you try and professionally pass off your style, which is not your style, it's literally you imitating entirely 100% some other artist, yeah. But if you're doing it as you're learning, Oh, well, that happens with a lot of thick mustaches. They really okay. So we're gonna pause this for a second. And this is okay. This is one of the things where I'm nitpicking, criticizing, whatever, because again, Babstar and even Marisha already better, like a better artist than I am, let alone the professional who is teaching her. But this is coming down to the way the stream is being put together. Like even my setup right here, it's not ideal. Like my canvas should be a little bit bigger. My little tools on the side. Ideally you wouldn't have to see that because you would get more of watching the actual image that I am creating. But right now, you know, I haven't even updated this from the default settings on the layout, right? And over here, we've got them with all of that negative space where these three display captures are predominantly the same size, right? And yes, you've got the little talking heads of them, which is one of the main draws. Like they are the personalities. They are much more adorable to look at and listen to than probably me by a long shot. Maybe someday I'll develop my broadcaster personality, but for right now, we're at this particular point. And so there's that. That's great. You want to make sure you have some form of showing the person there, especially if, say, your digital capture on your tablet freezes, right? But here they have the chunk, the main potatoes, the thing that they are displaying, the shapes that they are making, all that sort of stuff. It's like 1/4 of the screen, maybe, right? And so is the tablet that she is working on, but not even zoomed into on the workspace where like it's the actual because they've got the dead space over the top, they've got the keyboard that is rested on top, which is one of the cool things about those larger displays is that you can have either a smaller keypad that has hotkeyed stuff or a full keyboard like that one. There are ones that are designed to be able to be rested on it, not scratching the screen, all that sort of stuff, and goes to your computer for all that fun interaction right there, and it doesn't take up a whole bunch more desk space already than your drawing tablet. Sure, that's great that we know that that's there, but it doesn't contribute to the overall learning that we could be doing by seeing things. I understand looking at how someone's hand is doing the motion, but unless she's specifically talking about that and instructing that, that's just how she found it works for her hand to do it. You know, because some people have the 3-finger hold of a pen or a stylus. Some people do a 4-finger hold. I'm including the thumb as a finger here. You know, some people do the just pinch method and rest over a knuckle. You know, some people do like there's a whole bunch of different bits, and if that's not what they're teaching, we don't need to be looking at that. Or you could have something more like what I have here with their tutorial up in the big, and watching me fail at it is the main bit. And and then little me over here that slightly overlays the areas that are useless. Like, you could rearrange this, have, you know, them overlaid over the display area that is not being used by the negative space. Here, let me. Oh, it's just the window capture. Never mind. You can't see it. But you know, they could do something like that. There's a whole bunch of different ways that they could change this around so that it better fit for it. And I think they learned later about that, or rotating from having one bit bigger, where it's here's a third of the display being taken up by this thing, and then the rest is these other two things. Little tirade there, I understand. Probably not the most entertaining thing in the world, but it's a valid way to learn. No, I mean, sorry. It's a valid lesson to take away, in my mind, to alter things like that. Like, you know, for one thing, if I get the time to get my keypad that is programmable, nice little budget one, yes, but it works. Even has one of them. Let's see if you can hear it. Spin dials and whatnot. You know, if I end up having that programmed, I might have it also be able to operate with my streaming software, so that way I could alternate between, you know, having just full my display, their display, and you know, you're hearing some of the audio, rotating between. Let's go over to the streaming software, like rotating in between this sucker right here that I'm putting on the center, being underneath this, you know, or even switching up where things are every once in a while, so that you get some visual differences. Like, maybe I should have this about this size, right? Because let's see, let me pull this up. It's like, let's see if I can even estimate where things are correctly. Oh, I'm pretty close. Yeah. Okay. So like, whoop, whoop. It's like, then I know that in that corner you can't see what I'm drawing. So if I'm going to draw there, then I'd have to let's see. This it. Like, I'd have to. Oh, no, wrong thing. That's just rotating the canvas, so that things then become helter skelter. Not help. Sorry, wrong thing. But I guess, what is higgledy-piggledy something that a lot of people still know? Flip canvas. There we go. So basically, if I then know in that setup that, hey, I need to flip the canvas over, and then I'm drawing in that space here in a reverse. And then when I'm going back to the other area, flip it again. And then you know that I did that progress, but now I'm drawing my circles over here. And it is really weird. I am in many ways glad I did not go for a non-display tablet, because I am looking at a different screen entirely. And that feels weird to draw looking at the display of you drawing it, but not at your hand drawing it. Much stranger to me than, say, the how to put this. The first time you took your keyboard and stopped looking at the keys as you were typing. For some of my potential audience, that's like when you were 5, and for some of you that was like middle school, high school, where they were like trying to teach you how to type or potentially for some of our even older audience, like actual high school typing class where you had a typewriter. I've in our chunk of the universe, I have used a typewriter. In fact, I've used just about the big steps of all of those things. I've used a old school like antique ribbon typewriter, right? I think one of them was just an ink one and whatnot, where like it would be multiple strikes on it, and then there was the single strike use where you basically have here's the original transcript, but as the ink reel. I've had the pleasure to, for some of my jobs, even back in high school, use the electric typewriter. Yes, those things exist. And one of them was really kind of cool. That was a school district I worked for, where you could actually not just edit a document, it would save like the format of forms for it, so it knew where you could type. Like, here are the blocked out spaces, and you could erase. It was kind of a whiteout situation sort of thing, but it still did the thing. I have no clue what model that was, but it was still pretty cool to be like, huh, so this is what it was like before we even had the green screen computers. And those of you who don't understand what I'm talking about, well, you are young, or potentially from an area where that wasn't really the thing back when it was a thing. But hey, at least y'all don't have to know the struggle of you have to exit the operating system entirely to play a game like Technicolor Wheel of Fortune or the Oregon Trail. So many jokes about that. The Oregon Trail game, not the struggle of, well, there's probably a lot of jokes out there. Okay, we're getting close to an hour of me not having done any real work. I don't think we're going to get to it today, to be honest. So what I'm going to do, instead of trying to follow along with their tutorial right now, is I am going to just blather on about some random stuff, whatever it may be, while I operate on doing some standard drawing drills. So I'll be doing some circles for now, trying to get better at just drawing a dang circle. I guess I'll use a pencil tool for this one. But before we go and do that, straight line, is there a way for me to change what that is? Where's the ellipse tool? Not liquefy. It doesn't figure. Yeah, you'd expect that to be where that is. Not a gradient. Is it here that it? Okay, because I'm trying to do get a circle in there that looks like a perfect circle, and then start drawing. Whatever, I'm just gonna do it. You guys have watched enough dead air. Let's do purple circles. Why not? And that's me forgetting that I'm not on correct. And that's too big of a pencil. Okay. So this is definitely one of the things that I'm not great at, is drawing symmetric circles. There's also currently a lag for some reason on my pen. in some ways actually helping me. So let's talk about some other stuff today than just drawing. Let's talk about some of the writing gripes I've gotten from the doctor. Well, they're not gripes. They're discussions and pitfalls that sometimes get fallen into. So, one of the communities that inspired us to start up the declassification of our projects, it centers around a beloved magical world that got brought to the non-magical world in the form of a boarding school and 7 books. Oh, have you guessed that that's Harry Potter yet? You should have. The point is that in that community, there's a Discord server from a specific author. Shout out to Professor Quill and his works. And there are some members on there that bring up some good points when people have a story idea and whatnot. And there are also those who bring up an equally valid point, but not super constructive, I think you could call it. Where like somebody comes up with an idea and they're like, that's been done before. Well, yeah, but not by this author or that author, right? Or, hey, I don't really see how that's going to change anything in the story when you do a retelling of it with this minor detail. Like, for example, there was a point that was brought up of, well, what if this well-known magical orphan that we've come to know, that's an awful circle. What if he had a friend in Muggle schools growing up, and then she came to Hogwarts and found out who he really was, and that sort of thing. And it was somebody bring up a bare bones starter idea, right? And then somebody's like, I don't know how that would really change anything. And besides, like, wouldn't she, if she was in a magical family, wouldn't she already know? And like, blah, blah, blah. Like, why wouldn't she already be there when he goes to school? It's like, well, that's just the basics of the idea. Sorry, I should keep drawing because that's what you guys can see. You can't see me just gesticulating with my hands. The point is that, like, well, yeah, there are obstacles in writing that. So like, oh, hey, she moved away because her parents had worked elsewhere. That's why she stopped going to school with him for a little bit. Why we didn't see him in the first couple books. And then, it could be that she ended up going to Beaubaton, the French school, right? Or she ended up going over seas to Ilvermorny or whatever, and it's like is either a transfer or is there for the Triwizard tournament, like whatever. Like there's a reason why it's like, oh hey, here's the, and it's like, yeah, it's different than the original, but it's not like, hey, what if Harry finds a lustful genie a la most fan fictions of the genie from Danny Phantom, what, Desiree, right? Like that fundamentally changes a lot of stuff in the book, yes, but it's a subtle difference, right? It's a subtle different shift in how you're able to explore the points of view. It's adding the Muggle character or the previously friend or somebody who knew him outside of Hogwarts before into the core friend group. It's a shift in perspective or how they're able to point at stuff, or even just a starting point, and then the rest of it is all on the author on how they choose to either change events, change perspective, or just have their prose be different, right? Like, oh god, I hate that I even know this example, but there's another popular book from back in the day dealing with vampires, high school, and broodiness and whatnot, and sparkling. So there's the original book of telling it. I think it's from the normie humans point of view. I think it's her point of view that it starts out at and all that, and then we move on to the rest of the books and keep going and going and going and going. But then there's a retelling of it from, the couple 100-year, maybe I think it's a couple 100-year-old teenage vampire, their point of view, right? Well, those come across as two different books, but they're the same events, right? But it's a slightly different shift towards being able to see slightly behind the curtain. And while that's not a huge shift, and it's a, from jump concept, a different story, it is, in fact, still a different story. And it's like, well, hey, watching two different Phantom of the Operas, still going to be a different show. And that's whether or not it's a stage production or the movie. Like, actually, yeah, that's a great point. Stage production versus movie production, Phantom of the Opera. Right? Two entirely different shows. And depending on which one you're watching, two entirely different levels of Mr. Musical Genius's ability to sing. I'm looking at you, Gerard. Or even, telling a story again, like, or an almost formulaic comedy movie or whatever. Like, or if you were to redo a story today that was done before, it could be equally as good, but it's still going to be different, or the jokes are going to be slightly different. Like, I feel bad for not remembering the actor's name, but one of the actors from Harold and Kumar, one of Harold and Kumar, I can't remember which one is which. I think it's the guy who played Kumar, but they were talking about, hey, it was an interview with I think Dr. Mike or whatever, but they were talking about, hey, how did it feel? What were you thinking? Like, what were your thoughts and feelings and reactions to being a homosexual man, playing a heterosexual man, but with all of the gay jokes that were in Harold and Kumar? And yeah, there was a little bit of blinders for, like, hey, I get to be an Asian actor starring in a movie across from another Asian actor in Hollywood. We are the male leads of this, not just the supporting funny guy, not the what was it from? I think it was 16 Candles or whatever. Where it was like Long Duck Dong, where it was like, yeah, we're gonna play a stereotype joke, or the the very much not actual Asian representation in, I think, Breakfast at Tiffany's. Still haven't seen it. Point is, like, hey, it's different, but back then those jokes were more socially accepted. You could get away with that, and a little bit easier without having to finesse, making sure that the intent was that it was inclusive, that we're making fun of things together rather than point and laugh at the person because we don't like them, that sort of thing. So it was an interesting response he had, where it's like, well, those jokes might be elevated, they might be told in a slightly different way, the story might be the same, but it might have elevated writing or a slightly different tone to it, or like all of these different things. And it's like, that's totally valid as a form of artistic expression of making that remake or that retelling of a story. Or you know, getting some behind the scenes of stuff by having it be the story about what did the side character see. You know, like if Harry Potter got retold and all the events are the same, all the main plot points are the same, but it's just Neville Longbottom that we're following, right? Like, that's a different story entirely, but it's a story. Man, drawing circles is hard. So instead of saying, hey, I don't see that being a story really because I don't see how that's going to change anything, you know, be like, hey, and this goes to what I've said in, I think, another stream about taking criticism well and also giving it so that it is constructive. If you come at it with a, it's going to be difficult for that to really change much. In your idea of that story, is the focal point that you're changing events, or are you changing tone? You know what I mean? How is that going to affect it? Not, I don't see that doing anything. You know, it's like not coming at it with a, you're wrong, or I don't like your idea. Being like, and that, especially because this is a conversation in a creative space. It's not having to do with an actual product that is being put out under a corporate structure or anything like that, where you need to have the ability to stop bad ideas. But this is where there's no real bad idea. There's just good and bad execution. And, you know, it's things like that, like making sure that you come across it like that. But I sometimes, when I'm in that community, and the doctor also struggles with this too. He's told me about it before too, that sometimes he'll ramble in his response, and he'll put out all the thoughts that it popped up into his head, like, hey, that's really cool. It's going to be fun to see how this and this interplay, or what ripples that causes against this. And also, here's a really cool other take, or a different direction that you could take, that sort of thing, or, you know, that sort of stuff. And that's valid too to put out there, but it's also, he's got to work on being succinct, making sure those sentences don't run on too far, and that he differentiates what's targeting what. Like, what is, hey, this is in conjunction to your idea, blah, 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 blah. And either just posting that and then, like, keeping in the chamber typed up somewhere the additional, here's another cool way to take it, or to make sure that's distinct, different, in like a different paragraph, right? Or has the correct conjunctions and topic sentences of those paragraphs so that it's clear. That sort of thing. Wow. When I do a counterclockwise circle, I have an issue with right here. I keep getting I almost go straight, and that's because left-handed, that's where it becomes, I have mostly upward mobility before I have to start changing from a push to a pull on the stylus, I guess you call it. But if I go the other way, it bottoms out on the bottom at the same sort of point. So it's managing that transition of how the muscle is moving, or the muscles and tendons and whatever are moving the hand. Kind of like the controlled change and shift that someone doing yoga can do, that like a lot of people who only do, say, CrossFit, harder for them because they're more focused on quick, clean, and if they're doing it right, healthy form even at that speed. And so I've got to work on the muscle control and muscle memory of doing that myself. And yeah, I know this is probably not the most interesting for all of you to watch, but my brain is fried today. And we're getting pretty close to me calling the stream. So why start a whole project and bore you on that? But yeah, this is one of the drawing drills that you'll see progress sporadically on throughout these logs, which is basically just take a page, in this case it's a zoomed in portion of this canvas, draw some big circles, and then keep filling in with smaller and smaller circles. Because then that way you're doing a whole bunch of circles, but they're not all trying to recreate the same circle over and over again. So you're getting that fine motor control on a small circle that had potential and I fucked it up. Or let's move to go green. And then, you know, your big arm bits. That is bad, so I'm doing a spiral. Another one is that, in fact, where you try and you make a curve. Oh, come on. And then you try and make sure that that spiral is as consistently from the other side in as far as distance goes as possible. And for me right there, that bit where I just went wider is when I started having to transition to moving the hand rather than, sorry, not moving the, what I'm saying is moving the whole hand rather than just the fingers on the hand. Now, this is too big for it to not be arm movement. Wonderful thing about digital drawing, though, is that I don't have to worry about rubbing through the medium. Unlike how you would, say, in a physical medium, whereas you've got like going through your pastels, your charcoals or whatever, you're smearing the shit out of it if you're just relying on your hand gliding across the glass in this case, and whatnot. And then the other bit is to do the reverse of that and say, well, you do staying between and equally between the lines. And like I said, we're working on this control, so this isn't going to look pretty. Also working on doing it just at a casual speed, trying to stay smooth at it, not trying to start and stop. Not like there's that jitter right there. I did that fuck up. And then we get into here where I actually kept it pretty close to itself. You know, that sort of thing. And see here, I've totally effed up because I let myself lose focus while I was talking. I'm just going to speed through. So there's another one of the many different drawing drills. That one I'm going to undo. I'm not trying to Christmas hypnotize anybody. But yeah, I'm gonna cut it there. We have about a little bit under an hour of me actually doing any work after having actually figured out what was going wrong with the stream and then the computer software. So, you know, we're about to call. As always, I'm happy if you join me, even if it's just for a little bit. If you figure out anything that would be good for the stream, good for me, as far as an artist, or for putting these things out for the audience. Any technical issues that popped up during the stream that like that I wouldn't know just by looking at the screen, say the audio's crap or whatnot, please feel free to let me know in the comments. We're going to try and make sure that we continue to do this every Tuesday and Friday starting at 8. Typically, we're going to try and be done by 9:30, 10 Eastern Standard Time. There's still going to be a big old learning curve both on putting these out and whatnot, but we're going to make sure that we keep doing them even when we don't have the energy to keep doing them. Because I'll be honest, today was a day I just wanted to go to bed, but we still did the stream. So I guess y'all have a good one. See you when I see you. And stay curious, stay creative.